The first thing the billionaire noticed was not her worn-out shoes or the faded backpack hanging from her shoulders. It was the calm in her eyes. In a crowded downtown hotel ballroom on a bright Tuesday morning, surrounded by reporters, lawyers, and impatient businessmen, a thin 14-year-old black girl stepped forward and quietly changed the course of his entire life. On the table in front of him lay a single thick document and a bold promise written in red letters. "I will pay you $2 million if you read this from beginning to end." No one believed the promise was real until she proved them all wrong. Before we go any further, if you believe in kindness and second chances, take a moment right now to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to the channel. Believe again. Stories like this remind us that miracles still happen when ordinary people refuse to give up. Her name was Amara Johnson, and that morning she had only come to the hotel to return a lost wallet she had found on the sidewalk. Amara lived with her grandmother in a small apartment on the east side of the city. Life had never been easy for them. Her mother had passed away years earlier, and money was always tight. Still, Amara carried herself with a quiet dignity that made people look twice. She loved books more than anything in the world. While other kids spent afternoons on phones and games, Amara spent her time in the public library, losing herself in stories of brave heroes and impossible dreams. Across town, Victor Harrington, one of the wealthiest men in the country, was having the worst year of his life. Newspapers called him a genius, a ruthless businessman, a man who had everything. But inside he felt empty. His only daughter had stopped speaking to him, his marriage had collapsed, and after a recent scandal he had begun to suspect that most people around him cared more about his money than about him. That painful realization had led him to create the strange challenge that now sat on the table before him. He wanted to know if anyone still valued patience, honesty, and simple human curiosity. The document was long, complicated, and intentionally boring. He was convinced no one would truly read it. All morning people had lined up, eager to win the promised fortune. Lawyers skimmed the pages pretending to read. Influencers took photos with the document and walked away. College students flipped through it carelessly, searching for shortcuts. Each person claimed they had finished, and each person failed the small test hidden on the final page. By noon, Victor Harrington was ready to cancel the entire event. His faith in people was sinking lower by the hour. That was when Amara walked in, escorted by a hotel security guard who had noticed her asking questions about the lost wallet. The guard suggested she check the ballroom since many business people were gathered there. Amara entered shyly, planning only to find the owner of the wallet and leave. Instead, she saw the crowd and the sign announcing the challenge. She had no idea who Victor Harrington was, and she certainly did not believe a stranger would pay millions of dollars just for reading. But she did know one thing: she loved to read. While adults in expensive suits whispered and laughed, Amara asked politely if she could try. Some people rolled their eyes. Others smirked at the idea of a poor teenage girl competing where professionals had failed. Victor himself almost refused her. He assumed she was just another hopeful person chasing money. But something about the seriousness on her face made him hesitate. With a tired wave of his hand, he allowed her to sit at the table. Amara opened the heavy document as sunlight poured through the tall windows of the ballroom. The room slowly emptied as the afternoon went on. Hours passed. She did not rush. She did not pretend. Line by line, page by page, she read with full concentration. When she became confused, she started over. When her eyes grew tired, she rested them and continued. The billionaire watched from a distance, expecting her to quit like everyone else. But she never did. As the day turned golden and warm, something unexpected happened inside Victor Harrington. He began to remember his own childhood, long before private jets and skyscrapers, when he had been a poor boy who loved libraries just like Amara. He remembered a teacher who once told him that patience was more valuable than talent. For the first time in years, he felt a small spark of hope. Finally, near sunset, Amara turned the last page. Hidden there was a single instruction that every other contestant had missed, a request to summarize the entire document in her own honest words, and explain why she believed it had been written. With careful handwriting, she completed the task. Her answer was simple and heartfelt. She wrote that the document was not really about money at all, but about testing whether people still cared enough to slow down and truly understand something. When Victor read her response, he felt tears sting his eyes. No one had understood the purpose until that moment. Reporters who had lingered in the hallway were called back inside. Cameras returned. The tired billionaire stood up and announced that a winner had finally succeeded. Gasps filled the room when he pointed to Amara. The crowd erupted with questions and disbelief. Some suggested it must be a trick. Others whispered that the challenge had been unfair. But Victor Harrington did something no one expected. He publicly signed a check for $2 million and handed it to the stunned teenager. More than that, he offered to fund her education all the way through college. He admitted to everyone watching that a young girl with nothing had just taught him more about integrity than all his advisors combined. Amara's life changed in ways she never imagined. The money allowed her grandmother to retire. Their tiny apartment was replaced with a comfortable home, and Amara was able to attend the best schools in the country. But fame and fortune never hardened her gentle heart. She continued volunteering in libraries and mentoring other children who felt invisible the way she once had. Whenever people asked how she had won such an impossible prize, she always gave the same humble answer: she had simply done what she loved, with patience and honesty. As for Victor Harrington, the event transformed him as well. Inspired by Amara, he created scholarships for thousands of underprivileged students. He repaired the broken relationship with his own daughter and began using his wealth to build reading programs in poor neighborhoods. The man who once doubted the goodness of people discovered it again, through the quiet determination of one brave girl. Years later, on another bright daytime morning, Amara stood on a stage receiving a national award for her charity work. In the audience sat Victor Harrington, smiling proudly like a father. What began as a strange challenge had grown into a lifelong friendship and a movement that changed countless lives. All because a young girl believed that every word on a page deserves to be read. If this story has touched your heart, please take a moment to engage with a video like it, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and leave a comment about what inspired you most. Your support helps keep stories of hope alive. Special request: comment the words "never stop reading" just before the ending to show you were here with us. And so the world learned a powerful lesson that day. Sometimes the greatest rewards do not come to the strongest or the richest, but to those who are patient enough to read the fine print of life. In a noisy world that never slows down, a quiet girl named Amara proved that wisdom, kindness, and perseverance can still open doors money alone never could.